south. Hamas blew up a bunch of their own people at a rally and then blamed Israel. It was just they were showing off with like a rocket launcher or something like that. What happened there? I mean, this whole thing is just such a cluster.
Look, Hamas, other terrorist movements, Palestinian movements, Palestinian leadership throughout this conflict, they never take responsibility for any of their actions. They want Israel to be responsible for all the problem in the Middle East. And this is to have a common external enemy that you export your internal crisis on has been the method. This is the mechanism. And this is how they have survived so far. Hamas people used the Gaza children as human shield, you know. Then they blamed their blood on Israel. And when they had even an incident where, you know, their own explosives blow up and killed Palestinian people, of course they couldn't be brave and honest enough to say, we did it. They wanted Israel to take responsibility for it. But how can we expect from such a dark organization without morality, driven by hatred, to actually have this type of transparency and honesty and integrity to say, you know, we did it? Well, if they were in principle at that level of consciousness, we would have not been in this place to begin with.
Right.
You know? But this is the nature of escapists, and this is the nature of extremists of all time, of all ages. You know, that they blame other. They create an imaginary enemy. They create an imaginary entity. They call it the devil, or they call it whatever it is, and they blame everything on it, you know. And this is what Hamas was doing, and this was just another revelation, you know, where I just could not take it anymore, you know, from those irresponsible and blinded and dark, you know, lying individuals, sub-animal, you know, sub-animal. Of course, they taken the human form, and somehow we need to discern, you know, who they are. And it's beyond just nationalism. So it's like, okay, you know, many people in the United States, especially like, you know, my friends in the liberal camp, which, you know, many of them are my friends, and I also have many friends in the conservative camp, but also it's like, you know, they want like, okay, justice for Palestinians, and we say it's like, define Palestine, define Palestinian. What is, you know, there is no such a thing. You know, we're talking about dozens of rival parties, you know, layer upon layer of darkness, of confusion, of ignorance, and you know who's crushed in between? The children. And all the Palestinian factions, with no exception, religious or secular, conservative or liberal, all of them put nationalism ahead of the children. Their nationalism is more significant than the future of the children, you know. And as long as they are thinking this way, you know, they should be held accountable. They should be countered by any means. And this is what Hamas is doing. You know, we cannot say it's like, okay, Palestinians. No, the children of Gaza are helpless. You know, Hamas store missiles at schools, at hospitals, at mosques, and lunch rallies, you know, with their homemade, kitchen-made missiles, you know, among thousands, hundreds of thousands of civilians, you know. What's that? You know, and when a mistake happens, they rushed to blame Israel. That was like really taking it too far. Just man up for one time in your history, just take responsibility and say it was us, but they cannot. They cannot.
I know you ended up leaving the Shin Bet, the Israeli intelligence service. What happened? Why? When was enough enough? You just decided one day, hey, look, I've had it with this crap. I mean, how did that thought process come about?
As I told you, this world of intelligence, the world of deception, also is not an easy world. Anybody, whether you work for FBI, for CIA, for KGB, for whatever it is, uh, it's a very dangerous world, and they call it intelligence world. And yes, there is intelligence to it, but it's a human intelligence at the end of the day. And I think intelligent people eventually will find a higher intelligence, and the higher intelligence means leave, get out. But when you try to get out, they have something to lose, because if you still an asset, if you still has juice in you, they want to squeeze you to the last drop. Excuse me for the expression, but this is what they want to do. They want to squeeze you. Even though it's like they claim that you are not. They're not juicing you. You're just a tree that they take care of you, and you can grow like into hundreds of years, like infinitely. Okay, but this is their strategy, and I think for me, I hit a dead end of trying to transform my own people, at least myself. And to create the change that I wanted to be created within me, to create my own identity, to create the person I want, not the person my parents want or my people wanted. I wanted to be the person I wanted to be. And the game did not guarantee me the game of deception, of manipulation. Okay, you have the authority, move army in, move army out, choppers, special forces, shooting, manipulating terrorists, and orchestrating all these big plays, and enjoying the game, the big game, did not give me my individuality. I was not truthful to who I was, and I could not make the change, just walking around with false identities all over the time, and I just wanted to be me, and I wanted to, in fact, recreate myself, and that was not possible by just being living a secret life with many secret identities and so many masks and hoods and all that. And this is when I felt the necessity, for me to get out. Not to mention, that the agency is very selfish, even though, my life was really at risk on daily basis. And what they were waiting for, for me to just get killed, like did it really have to end like that, where I get like eventually killed and just my files would be secret files for eternity and nobody would ever know about them? Or maybe 10 years of like hard work in the field, I learned what I learned, and I learned the nature of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the leaders behind it, the mindset, the culture, the people, and the forces that actually play in to keep the conflict going. And that was learned. And for me, it was time to move on,